connections. Oh, hi guys, this is Sarah Munoz talking about home and school connections for our ELLs and their families. So I'll start off by talking about cultural influences. So when we're regarding cultural influences, we have to know that families and communities and cultures provide students with these habits and worldviews that they then get to bring into your classroom. And it's important for teachers to not just become familiar with their students and their backgrounds, but also to respect that. And that kind of relies on a certain level of cultural competence. So when I say cultural competence, that means not just acknowledging and being aware of these cultures and the diversity in your classroom, but also making active steps to learn more about these cultures and implement them where you can into your curriculum and their respect for them into your daily life. So this means always recognizing students' culture, validating them in it, making sure that they know that that is an important part of them and that you respect that. And raising the voices of the people from their community if and when you can, making sure that they are heard, making sure that you do value them. Um, and then becoming, when you're an ELL, an English language learner student, that comes with a whole, bag of worms of social and emotional needs. And those need to be addressed as well. So ELLs are often coming from, well, they're always coming from a different language and they sometimes come from a different place. And that means learning something completely new in a place sometimes that is new as well to them. And that on its own is a stressful undertaking. So when you also have that feeling of like nothing around me is familiar, I don't know these people, I don't know these customs, that can leave a student feeling very alienated. So it's up to a teacher sometimes to begin that link of establishing them in a community and making them feel like they can be at home there, becoming that safe person by always showing respect and never undermining them and always understanding them first and before explaining themselves. As a teacher, you seek first to understand them. So you want to make sure you're putting that out as well as becoming like a link to their peers and activities in their school community whenever you can, because you might be the one trusted person they have right now. And then intentional strategies that you share and then also you can share with the family. So schools need family and the families rely on schools, so it should be this kind of, interaction between both, and there needs to be strong line of communication for that to happen well because both of us rely on each other. So communication is key in this situation where you can actually embed communication into the curriculum if you so choose through activities and things like show and tell or group reading at home assignments or family days and events, volunteering, guest reader, inviting these parents to come in, inviting the families to come in, share what they know if they can, if you have like a family day or you want to take your class on a field trip to one of maybe their businesses. Have them come into the classroom, have your students go to their lives, and see what's going on and get the communication going. Talk to them about things that are good, talk about things that are typical and normal. Don't just communicate when things are going rough because then, families will kind of get this icky feeling around communicating with the teacher, and it should always be a good thing. So making sure you don't just communicate when things are rough, but also when things are good and when things are normal. Um, Inclusive school and classroom situations. So you have to make sure that your classroom reflects a place that's accepting of people and makes them feel comfortable. You're not going to set somebody off or make them feel uncomfortable when they walk in your room. And you also have to, as a teacher, work to establish that kind of emotional climate as well with your students. So that can take a lot of time to get those two aligned, especially the emotional part, because it takes a lot of work to get everybody kind of like, okay, this is what culture is. How do we appreciate it? How do we show that we value that? Um, so you want to make sure that you're doing that. Bridge language gaps where you can as a teacher. There's often a lot of things that it's like, wow, I can't do that. But you can learn a few common phrases, translate your communication if and when you can, run it through a translator even. Um, Make sure that you're, applying their customs in your head as well if you know something about them, or you can even ask, just to get to know them better and show them that you do care about where they're coming from. Um, and then when it comes to the roles that communities play in learning language, they can be like huge supporters of learning a new language. They may not understand the reason behind it. Either way, let them know that you are there to support their student and that their support is greatly appreciated as well, and that this is only for the better of the student and any interaction between them, any help that they can give is greatly appreciated, and you appreciate their presence even there. So just kind of being aware that worldviews are going to be different and letting them know that maybe yours is different. That doesn't mean that there's any worse or better, doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with anybody, just to kind of bridge that gap between and say, this is where I'm at, this is where you're at, I want to meet you halfway, and let's make that happen. Thank you guys so much.